The weather bomb. A winter storm that shut down much of the South churned up the coast Wednesday, dumping snow across the Northeast and saving its most brutal punch for New England, where hundreds and hundreds of cars spun out and schools and businesses shut down. Armies of plows and salt spreaders hit streets across Northeast to stem the chaos during Wednesday morning's commute. In Connecticut, where more than 2 feet of snow had fallen in some places, and it was still coming down, state police responded to approximately 500 spinouts, fender benders, and stranded vehicles. 4 minor injuries were reported. Airlines preemptively canceled hundreds of flights, and companies were advising some employees to work from home. The powerful nor'easter forced hundreds of flight cancellations and snarled travel across the region, with Amtrak suspending service between New York City and Boston because of damage to the overhead power system south of Boston. In New York, where officials took heavy criticism for their slow response to a December 26th blizzard, the morning commute was seemingly business as usual, with some delays as plows cleared streets that had been blocked for days by the last storm. Nearly 9 inches fell in Central Park, well short of 20 inches that last month's storm dumped on the city. New England, though, appeared to be caught off guard by the ferocity of the latest storm. Connecticut Governor Daniel P. Malloy, leading the state through what threatened to be its first disaster, ordered a double shift of state troopers onto the highways. Heavy snow and gusting winds closed hundreds of schools and businesses from Maine and New Hampshire southward. In the Boston area, thunder boomed as snow fell. Thunder snow. With schools and businesses closed across the state, many planned to make the most of the snow day. Newtown, Connecticut, had 27 inches of snow just before noon, and Danbury had 24 inches. In Maine, an inch of snow an hour meant snowplows had a hard time keeping up. About 70,000 households in Massachusetts lacked power, according to the State Emergency Management Agency. Some 8,700 people in Rhode Island also lost power. Every flight in and out of Boston's Logan Airport was delayed. More than 1,700 flights were canceled at the New York region's 3 airports, which were trying to resume normal operations on Wednesday. As the storm spun north, the National Weather Service reported that there was snow on the ground in every state except Florida. That includes Hawaii, which had 7 inches of snow on the top of the Mauna Kea mountain. I think it has happened in the past, but it's not very often that it happens, said James Ferranto of the Weather Service. Officials cautioned motorists to stay off the road from the Carolinas to Maine. Snowplows were out in force in New Jersey and in New York, which was getting hit by snow for the 3rd time in less than 3 weeks, after the crippling December 26th blizzard and a 2-inch dusting last week. Mayor Michael Bloomberg said crews would work even harder after criticism of how the city handled the blizzard, when hundreds of streets went unplowed, subway riders were stranded, and medical calls unanswered because ambulances were unable to navigate snowy streets. At the historic Montauk Lighthouse on eastern Long Island, the caretaker, 53, said torrential rain pummeled the area all night before snow began falling at 6:30 a.m. with wind gusts of over 50 miles per hour. The wintry weather has been blamed for at least 14 deaths and many more injuries since Sunday. Snow and ice had already shut down much of the South for 2 days before the storm joined forces with another coming in from the Midwest and swept northward, and some weather forecasters have likened it to a weather bomb. In the South, road crews lacked winter equipment, salt and sand to clear the roads, and millions of people just stayed home. Mail delivery was restricted, and many schools and other institutions closed. Some schools remained closed Wednesday in western North Carolina, as well as in Charlotte, the state's largest city. Workers reported progress clearing highways, but warned many secondary roads remain dangerous because of ice. And again, this is, or was, another massive winter storm. One massive winter storm after another. More extreme weather happening all around the world, just like the floods in Australia. And these are more signs of the times, the end times, transition days, which is a continuing daily process happening all around the world. Mark chapter 13, verse 14. But when you shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let him that heareth understand, and let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. 15. And let him that is on the housetop not go down into the house, neither enter therein, to take anything out of his house. 16. And let him that is in the field not turn back again, for to take up his garment. 17. But woe to them that are with child, and to them that give nurse in those days. 18. And pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. 19. For in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which God created unto this time, neither shall be. 20. And except that the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days. Revelation chapter 10, verse 4. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven, saying unto me, Seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. 5. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven. 6. And swore by him that lives for ever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, but there should be time no longer. 7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he has declared to his servants the prophets. And yes, again, it's time for all prophecy to be fulfilled. This is the time when the past, the present, and the future comes together, or collide with one another in some kind of way. And all these are more signs, and there are many different kinds of signs happening daily all around the world.